Hey guys, this is Stunna. You're listening to the Center Ring.
Okay, so let's start.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Center Ring, aka TCR, aka your favorite esports podcast, episode 183, coming to you live and or pre-recorded from an undisclosed location. The date, October 16th, 2019. The time, 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Dare I say that this will be the best episode ever, as we have a quite loaded e-news for you at the end of the show as we get to topics we just didn't have enough time to get to, or it just doesn't have enough to talk about. And boy, Riot, just out of nowhere, just making the news in video games and esports in general. So we are going to break down everything that happened with their latest announcements, talk about how it could affect other beloved esports, all that fun stuff. That's what we're going to talk about today. But before we do that, hello, my name is Tim. I'll be your captain for this journey into esports. And like always, joining me is my best friend, my good friend, my brown friend, Anuj. What's up?
Mark the date and the time. The Center Ring talks Riot games. That does not happen often. What do we say? It's 183? What are we at today? 183?
183, and I think you can easily count on one hand how many times we've legit talked Riot or just League of Legends in general. Today,
Yeah.
the one time the pro sent a dick pic to someone, and like, I think other than like the quick e-news for an update or something like that, like maybe one other time. Like, we really
There hasn't been much.
No. And you know what, though? We don't try to hide it, right? Like, listeners all the time are like, hey, do you guys talk about legal? No. No, we don't. Like,
That part is not, for me, it's not even a hatred thing.
No,
it's just
well, and I don't hate League either. I just don't. Look,
don't
my.
watch it enough to feel comfortable discussing it with you guys.
Well, exactly, right? Like, I'm not going to come out here and be like, oh, man, so in League today, Cloud9 and Liquid, blah, 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 when it's like, I don't watch it. And I never have. When League first came out, I guess me being the idiot, because I was like in prime time, like to go pro in it, right? Like it came out, I was in high school. I was, I think I had a girlfriend at the time, but like, it's a high school girlfriend, right? Like, you see her during school and maybe a couple times a week. Like, I could have sank in the hours for League, but I never did because I was that idiot that was like, what's this League of Legends crap? It's gonna fail. Dota for life. Real people play Dota because at the time I still played Dota on the Warcraft mod itself, right? It wasn't even Dota 2 at the time. It was OG. I was like, Dota's the way to go, man. This is just a Dota clone. This sucks. It's not gonna do anything. And now 29-year-old Tim is like, you're an idiot.
They made like the flashier, like hip version, I feel, with League of Legends. I feel like it's like a flashier version
Well,
of the
I
game.
mean, yeah, especially because at the time Dota was just a mod, right? Like,
Yeah.
it was, you were using Warcraft and people were like, well, this is just because there was tons of different mod maps like on Warcraft and StarCraft. So to try to play it like it was a separate game was kind of, some people were just like, nah, no thank you. I'm just going to go play League where it's this whole built-in single, kept
And
together thing.
you're like either or, because there's not many people that are like, oh yeah, I played Dota 2 and I play League of Legends a lot. Like you either play one or you play the other. Me and my group of friends were on the other end where we only played League. I'd actually never played Dota. I knew what it was, obviously,
Right.
but it's like
Oh,
we
yeah.
just
No, we
played
were
that to
big.
begin with, and that's what we played, and
And I
that
think
was
it
it.
started because we were big Warcraft people. Like, we would have Warcraft LAN parties, which would turn into Dota LAN parties. So that was kind of my early LAN party days where
Yeah, it was
playing
like a game you
original
grew
Dota.
with.
Yeah.
But
But
now we have what League coming to their 10-year anniversary. That makes them
Doesn't
you
seem
know,
that like
milestone game. Like
I
not many
know, but I feel
games
like it's been
are.
around so much longer.
You feel like it's been around
So
longer than
so
10
if it's
years?
been around 10 years, that means I was 19 when it came out. So I wasn't in high school. I was early college. Still
Same thing with
prime
the college
time.
girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah. College girlfriend that I had during high school, so still
Yeah.
counts. Still counts.
No, I mean, yeah, 10 years to me feel I mean, it's just a landmark for any video game. There's very few games out there that were still playable active games, right? Like there's games that people go back to. You talk about the old Dooms and Wolfenstein, like people go back and maybe play them here and there, but you're not finding it to be like an active community after 10 years. Counter-Strike comes to mind,
Yeah, so you
Team
got Dota,
Fortress,
Counter Strike,
Team
obviously
Fortress.
League. I don't know if Team Fortress though really.
They have an
It's
active community
they
at
have a
least, you know, it's
dedicated
so
community, but not like a flourishing, I would say by any
no.
means. Like Team Fortress 2 definitely sticks around. Like the fact that they're getting a summit isn't because, well, look at the population that plays this game. It's an untapped potential. It's a tip of the hat, right?
Yeah.
It's acknowledging what what laid down the groundwork.
And you obviously there's a lot of FGC games that kind of stay in that
Yeah,
world
Street
too,
Fighter and
right?
all that. Yeah.
Smash. But yeah, for League, this was big. This was their 10-year announcement. They did do the League 10 stream, which was supposed to be just kind of a celebration of Riot Games and diving into long awaited rumors that, you know, people have discussed and, you know, thrown out there for a long time now. There's been a handful of things that have really been talked about, and this was an opportunity for them to open up and share about you know what they have in the works, and it definitely got a lot of people excited. I mean, Twitter was buzzing, and I think the timing was also perfect. You know, in terms of
Oh
what's
yeah.
been going on
You
with
know,
Blizzard.
this whole like week and a half, Riot has just been dying laughing to themselves in the background as it's just like, yeah, we made a statement here and there. Some people got upset about it, whatever. Let Blizzard just implode. And then, by the way, we're just going to dump it on them. Like,
Didn't Riot Games have the whole sexual assault allegations going on, like pretty
oh,
hardcore
dude.
against them?
But you know what, though, Anuj? And I really don't want to be the guy to point this out because, hey, hashtag free Hong Kong. I'm with you, okay? Don't shoot the messenger here. But this is exactly what I'm talking about with Blizzard. All these people, all these internet warriors out here saying like, "Ah, F Blizzard, I can't believe Nazis and all of us are suckers. As soon as one of these guys come out with something that we like a new game or something, oh, how quickly we forget. Riot was the devil, like literally the devil. Like you couldn't find a company that was more corrupt in its core than Riot. Everyone would tell you that. And I think people are still going to say that, but it's like, man, I can't believe Riot, dude. Just what an awful place to work and awful to human beings. But damn, bro, did you see that new FPS? You see that new FPS, Anuj? Like
Yeah, I'm
that's
gonna
what I'm
jump in.
talking about. So
I'm gonna
all
try
these,
it. I'm not gonna put any money towards passes, but I'm gonna play the
I'm
game.
gonna play it though. I'm not. I won't buy any skins though. No, sir. I will put my foot down on that. Like that's all I'm saying is let's just look ourselves in the mirror for a second and realize what's going to happen with Blizzard is no matter how much we kick our feet and scream, we know what's going to happen after BlizzCon and they announce some badass game if they do, which my god, we'll get into it in a little bit, but they kind of have to now. if
Oh man.
if Blizzard
Even
didn't
if
need
they're
to
in the first year of development and it's 6 years away, they better announce it in the next coming weeks at BlizzCon
I'm
because
talking like right now that Blizzard better kicked in the door of their developers, right? Like the thinkers, and said, guys, put something on paper right now. I don't care what it is. I will go on stage and show them a notebook of ideas. Give me something to show, because if Blizzard didn't have to crush a BlizzCon out of the park already, like they really can't afford looking like dum dums now.
like I don't think another mobile game announcement's gonna go off well for them. And it's
He-
funny
Heroes of the Storm
because
2.
one of the announcements for League, was a mobile game and it's well received. But it's because it's packaged with a ton of other news that people are excited about. And I kind of just want to jump in. Do we want to go into each one individually? Should I list them out and we kind of go back? Um,
Yeah,
this
do
stuff.
whatever you feel would be best because I won't lie to you. Um, I didn't know this was going on until I saw Twitter just blow up again. Don't follow Riot or League; they're not on my radar. So I had no idea any of this was happening and I mean, really, until I saw it all over Twitter and people were talking about Project A and Project Ares, and I was like, "What the hell
Well,
is
yeah.
this?"
So what we'll do is I'm just gonna run through what was officially confirmed, and then we'll kind of run back and go through some of them because I feel like there's just you know a ton of excitement. I think is probably the right word, right? Like it's might not be right around the corner, but
Buzz,
people
a
were
lot of
excited.
buzz
Yeah,
around
a
it.
lot of buzz for sure. So they announced first and foremost, they announced their CS:GO ish shooter under a new IP for them. That's been rumored to be in development for a long time now. Like it's been brought up that they are working on a FPS game. They're calling it a tactical shooter first and foremost. Uh, Similar to what CS:GO is in terms of gun skill and aim. Where it differs is we're now kind of also mixing the Overwatch hero selection side to go along with the shooters. So almost everybody being a Soldier 76, except the gunplay is going to be what it's about. You're
Yeah.
not gonna have like random bullet spray. You're gonna have defined sprays and um it's gonna be about the tactical gameplay along with the aim. So that was the first big announcement, and we'll jump back into
And
that
that's
in a minute.
Project A.
That's Project A, also known as Ares. You'll kind of see it under both names, I guess you could say. They announced their mobile versions of Team Fighting Tactics and Summoner's Rift. They're going to be modified versions of those games, but essentially the same thing, in terms of experience. It's being modified for mobile. So it's not going
Yeah.
to be an exact port of the games, but it'll be, what you've come to expect from those types of game modes. Tim, a big one for you, Esports Manager Simulator. That was a big announcement that came out. So
Can't
you can
wait.
dive right in and manage your own teams over there. Legends of Runeterra. This is a card game. I think people were pretty well aware of this. This was more of an announcement of like, hey, this is coming out sooner rather than later. So you'll actually be able to play that pretty soon.
So shout out
Um,
to all you Hearthstone players getting banned. Now
oh
you know
yeah,
what to
there
do.
you go. You know exactly where to go. That's actually a good call. And then their new fighting game. I think that's under the name Project L. It's still in development. They showed like a really tiny clip of that. I mean, it was almost like a 5-second clip that they just flashed on the screen, and then they didn't really get too
But
much
again,
more
that's all
into
you
it.
need, right?
Yeah, hey, something, right? And then previewed was a Diablo-like ARPG. Um, didn't really officially confirm it, just kind of went into it briefly, so we really won't talk about that too much. But man, right back to the top, a CS:GO Overwatch shooter that's not Rainbow Six Siege, because that's what it kind of operators with
Right,
gunplay,
right,
right?
right.
Like,
So I won't back down for my stance that I'm tired of class-based shooters. So I won't back down from that. If it really turns into this class-based shooter with meta and hero picks and operator picks and all that, with picks and bans or whatever, like I will probably, unless it's just really fun, say I'm out because I just I'm old. I got a kid now. I can't keep up with the meta for all these stinking games. Like, it's just not as fun to me. But the little clip they had, though, and it's kind of weird, right? Because they showed a few clips where it was like just straight up gunplay. But then that one clip, you saw the ability. So it's kind of like, oh,
yeah, you saw like a revive ability. You saw
yeah,
something similar to a May wall. You saw what looks like what's that character from League where he's got all the daggers around him. Anyways, like a guy with
right.
all the daggers, and you kind of can toss one at a character. So we saw a hand. We saw some sort of smoke poisonous gas ability that trails you, and you can kind of block off areas. And things of that sort. So we did see the Overwatch style um, hero based gameplay in there. But on the shooting side of it, what little we saw, we're going off of like, you know, less than a
30
minute
seconds,
full
if
of
that.
gameplay clips. Um, if the shooting is like CS:GO, if they truly made it like CS:GO, and I'll tell you, kind of see where I can back up this statement, or at least as much as I can here. If the shooting is like CS:GO, I would be heavily interested in a game like that. But the gunplay has to be really good for me to want to play a game like that. I think it will do a good job of at least replicating a couple of things CS has based on what we saw. We do know Sal, and I don't want to butcher his last name, Garazo. He is also the older brother of what's the Heather Sapphire, the girl that does
Oh, the observing?
uh, the observing. He is the older brother. He is an ex Team 3D player, like a very high level CS:GO player, especially I mean, like in 1.6 level designer of Cash. He is a senior game designer at Riot, and
Huh.
like people did not know that.
Yeah, like what a
And so
small world.
yeah, he's over here making cash and was just at the last CS:GO event, ESL New York, doing the reveal for cash on stage. He's there with the commentators, and all along he's working with Riot in developing their next, FPS. I think a mind like his being involved, and hopefully he's been involved since early development, is huge because he's been a part of some of the best maps that have been made for Counter Strike. He's playing Counter Strike at a very high level, so it's not like he's just some artistic genius that knows how to map design really well. He also knows it from the player's standpoint of what you would expect. And that also makes me believe the gunplay is going to be good because he knows what good gunplay is and what
Yeah.
people from our world, I say our world, Counter Strike world, have come to expect.
I just hope the
Um,
game is still based around gunplay first.
and there
It
is a
looks
quote
like it is,
There
but
is a quote from the CEO at Riot, actually talking about that exact thing, and I think I
because like in
saved it.
Overwatch, I mean it's all about your ability and waiting for an ult. Like 90% of the fights come down to who has more ults.
So, Twitter post from CEO at Riot. I'm trying to actually click on it, but I have it here. I saved it anyway. To be clear, in Project A, shooting matters. You don't kill with abilities. Abilities create tactical opportunities to take the right shot. Characters' abilities that augment their gunplay instantly. And now I have to go and actually find the rest of the quote. But the important part there is him saying abilities are not there to kill people, they're there to create tactical
Okay.
advantages. Now, I hope we don't see a ton of like bubbles and shields, kind of what we've seen in Overwatch. I think that is terrible for a
A
shooter
shooter.
based game. Yeah, like walls and all that. I get it. If they're temporary, they like come up and then they go down, whatever. But like the whole bubble or shield concept, I really hope that's not part of the game. I also wonder what they're going to do with like game modes. Are they going to really emulate Counter Strike and have like bomb defusal? Like, is that what this is going to be,
Right.
of some sort of taking
Maps
over a
looked
site?
very Counter Strike, which
Looked
makes
very
sense
yeah,
now that we know who's behind it, right?
yeah, yeah, and so, that's interesting. We also saw, a couple of people that were involved in testing. There was, you know, famous from Team 3D, Rambo Kim, my idol, my god, my hero, my savior. He was part of the testing team that got to go out there and do that. There was a couple other people that were mentioned on Twitter that, again, were high level Counter Strike players. So I keep mentioning Counter Strike because that's what's drawn the attention on Twitter, right? You have
Yeah.
the CS:GO community, who in my mind is I I think the best game in the world. I think it's the most toxic community in gaming. Um, it's just really funny how what's the word I'm looking for here? How like insecure Counter Strike fans are about Counter Strike. Like they feel like any game
I
that's
think that's
coming
every
out
community though,
is
man. Because I would
no,
say
but
what's
it
funny
feels
is
like
me
it's like
playing a lot of Overwatch. I would say that's Overwatch.
but for so I feel like I follow enough people on both sides of whether that's Overwatch, Counter Strike, and then even like the other games that we cover. Counter Strike fans and even some people in the media, not all, um, really just want to slam other games,
Now
and they're
that's true.
rooting for zero
Yeah, I
success
will say
when
this.
it
I will
comes to
say
other games. They're more
the
vocal than
talking heads in
anybody
Counter
else.
Strike are worse than in Overwatch, but as far as fans go, boy,
But
boy,
the talking heads
Overwatch is pretty
represent a
bad.
lot of your fan base too, right? Like the talking heads are the ones that the people see. They're the ones that, you
Oh, of
know,
course, yeah.
should represent us in a way. Um, they're very vocal about their hatred, even towards this game. Like I saw so much hate, and I'm like, wait, we saw
Okay, guys,
like
we saw 30 seconds, guys. Like,
like it's
calm down
easy to
here.
get excited. I get the excitement part of it, but the hate part of it, I always find a little interesting. It's like, um, again, I think you and I both talked about this. This is equally as a competitor to Counter Strike as it is to Overwatch.
Yeah, and that's what I was kind of shocked about is because, like I said, the little bit that I saw, yeah, there was gunplay and stuff, but to me, I mean, like you said, Counter Strike has been around for so long, and like people know exactly what they're going to get, and it is a true tactical first person shooter. There's no abilities, there's no hero picking or anything like that. Like it is, I mean, it is as straightforward as a shooter as you can get these days. There's no crazy it's like Call of Duty, right? You have like the perks and power-ups. None of that in Counter-Strike. It is bland
Counter Strike is like
compared.
mixed with like military sim almost
Oh,
style game.
I mean compared to
Um,
what we get nowadays, yeah, it's about as
yeah,
close
like
as you get
it's
to a
about as
sim.
close exactly. And this is definitely not that. I think where the fear comes in, or not the fear, but the comparison comes in is it's an FPS, right? Like it's going to be a
Yeah.
straight up FPS. Is it going to take market share? Like, and how much
Yeah.
market share would it take?
I think you're going to
Overwatch, I
see
agree.
more take I think Overwatch is going to take a bigger hit than Counter-Strike.
I agree.
Because like you said, for us there is no replacing that feeling Counter-Strike gives you. With Overwatch, I still play the game all the time and still find myself like when I'm done playing it, like when we're done playing Counter-Strike, even though it might be stressful, I'm still like, man, that was a good time. Like win or lose, I had fun. With Overwatch though, I'm still saying this this effing hero is overpowered. These effing shields are too much. This ability is overpowered. Like why did I just get grabbed or frozen or like I just want to get my headshot. Like I outshot you, but whatever ability overpowered my ability to shoot. And I don't think I'm alone in that. I think that's like a lot of where the frustration comes with Overwatch right now is like the heroes that they've added to the game since launch has really the FPS part has taken a back seat and it really kind of plays more like a MOBA now. In the sense of like team fights and whatnot, right? You feel me?
Yeah.
I think this game, Project A, has that market share where it's going to pull those people away from Overwatch who are like, ooh, okay, so this
From like
isn't
hero based shooters, right? Like
exactly.
in
I
general,
want to
like
have that strategy between meta and hero picks and abilities, but I don't want the game to be focused around it. I still want my headshot to be a headshot.
I think if they can find a way to give you a little bit of both, it has the potential to take a lot of market share from both. And I'll tell you why on the Counter Strike side. I think Counter Strike's the best esport game there is. There's no doubt about it in my mind that it is just a clear cut number one in my mind. Um, with that being said, Counter Strike does not get a ton of support from its development side. The game does have the tendency after majors to go a little stale, right? You're really
Yeah.
hoping for really the conversation comes around what old map are we going to get back to fix a current map that we have just to get back a few months later, and it's really not going to be good until you have fixed it two or three times before it's in a good playable state, right? And they recycle the same maps over and over and over. Even Cash, as excited I am about Cash's release, it's the same freaking map we've had for 10
Right, yeah.
years, just going to look prettier. I mean, there'll be a couple of tactical changes to the
They might
map,
have replaced a
obviously.
box with a barrel.
Yeah, like a little bit more cover here, but at the end of the day, I could walk into that map blindfolded and probably navigate it. So I think with the development, at least the way it's currently treated within Counter Strike, I think that that has the potential to like just people are willing to move on a little bit more now than ever just because there's so many choices out there. Counter Strike's been a staple in the community for 20 years, but like the first 10 years, there was really not many FPS shooters to go along with it. Now there have come and gone several, since then. But who's to say if the next one is the right one? What is that really going to do to a game like CS that doesn't tend to frequently update or create a
Yeah.
sense of buzz around the
Well,
game?
and I think too, like here, this is the first time, I mean, really in a long time, unless you just count new Call of Duties, which I don't think you do, where we have a true developer backing a new game.
Like a
Like
new IP just
exactly, like
altogether. Yeah.
we've seen games come and go. Like for example, I mean, even on the fighting side, right? Icons, which was it was supposed to be a melee copycat for PC, ended up shutting down. By the way, is coming back. Someone's rebought the IP, kind of reworking it, re-releasing it, and everything there. But still, that was like an indie developer, Wave Dash, and it ended up failing before it even took off. Um, Mainly because business decisions there, not so much. They never even had a chance to get the game right. Um, you had, I mean, look at, we've talked about on the show, thousands, hundreds of BR games that have started up and failed before they even made it out of early access. And it's all because they're indie developers. Now
Yeah.
Riot, I don't even know if they're considered, I don't want to argue semantics on what is an indie, whatever. Riot though is like, I would say,
They're not an indie developer
exactly.
anymore.
Like they got
They
big
are
boy
like
money. So it is going to be interesting to see like with new competition and how like so many new IPs coming from them all around the same time, how much focus is going to be put into them. Because for the longest time, all they had to worry about was League of Legends. They could put 100% effort into League of Legends because they knew that's all they had. Well, now with these other games, I'm curious if we're gonna see that, because that's part of the issue. I mean, look at Valve, right? We all know who's Valve's favorite kid is, Dota. Like that's the one they show off. CS:GO is the one that they say to go hang out upstairs when,
the Harry Potter of the
yeah,
group.
right.
Yeah.
But I wonder now with Riot, are we going to see that same commitment for all these new IPs, right?
I think they have to because they only get one chance at releasing your first like next game, right? Like you
Yeah,
have what League of Legends. It's not going anywhere. It's a staple. Like it's there to stay, right?
right.
They call themselves Riot Games, yet they only develop one game. They've talked about creating other games for a long time. I think the fact that it's taken them 10 years to finally come out with their next IP also says a lot, and how dedicated they were to making the first one as good as they can possibly make it. I would be shocked to see a company that's invested so much time and effort into making one game so perfect take your next two IPs and just throw them by the wayside after 5+ years of development. All of a sudden, it comes out and it doesn't get the same attention that you're giving to your other ones now. It might split attention from each other in that sense, but I would fully anticipate them again based on who's working with them. I think says a lot
Yeah.
for them to be fully committed to doing this the right way. Um,
Now, do you see them following the same model as League of Legends? When I say that, I mean free to play. Characters can be unlocked via real money or in-game money that you build up. That same
I
model.
do, yeah, I do think it'll be a very similar model.
I do too.
They've generated 15 billion in revenue since they've been around, right? Like
Yeah.
they know what they're doing, they know how to make money. I think that model is also a proven model that is acceptable to fans within the gaming community, right? There are some things that we find unacceptable when it comes to loot boxes and loot crates. I don't think it's the theory of having them. I think it's the content that's generally available or associated with them that bothers people.
Yeah.
I think the model of being able to buy characters that are also unlockable with playtime, people have generally accepted that as an approach that they are okay with.
Okay with, yeah.
Um, I have at least, right? Like, I
I
mean, I
have
feel like
no so yeah, I don't mind it as much. And I agree that I don't think it's going to change. I think they're going to go free to play. I think we've seen with Fortnite and any other game out there, it's I don't want to say
got
it's
a
the
huge
right
Asian
way.
following. The game's got to be free to play for them to stay big and have a huge market in Asia. It's got to stay free to play. So I don't see them going
Right.
away
I don't
from
think that's
that
the
part of it.
only way to come out with a game nowadays. I do think you can have a successful game with money, especially if you're a company like Riot. Like you're obviously going to have enough like I mean look at Overwatch, right? Like that was I think a full $60 when it came out. So obviously you can charge for a game and it still be okay. But where I'm curious, and if they do this right, is on the fighting game side. Project L, is that what you said it was called now?
I think that's what they were marketing it
Is and
as.
this has been one of my like me. I love fighting games. I play them. I'm not very good at them, but I do enjoy playing them. My one complaint though with all fighting games, this is across the board. I've never really seen one that doesn't do this, and that is gouge its players base of their money. Like just run them dry with DLC characters. A fighting game is the most expensive investment that you can get into and just to be casual at it. Like I just want to enjoy Mortal Kombat. But not only do I have to spend $60 on a game, which nowadays just seems like a lot for a video game in general compared to what else you can get out there. It's a fighting game. Not like there's a whole lot there. Like let's be real here, people. And then I know in a month you're going to release another DLC pack for another $30. Like
Gonna have
seriously,
five
like I did
characters
the
in it,
math one
and one of
time.
them's gonna be OP.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you know, I mean, look at Alien for, Mortal Kombat in the past. It completely broke the game and it was a DLC character. And like that's if you just want to be casual. God forbid you want to be competitive. You have to buy the DLC
Yeah.
because what are you going to do? Go to Evo and not have these heroes that you can play with to learn or fight against? Like, no.
No,
You
again, I think their model works perfect in the fighting game
and
genre.
that's it's going to be perfect. Yeah, yeah, and I think it could really revolutionize and change the way the FGC is worked and ran. Like I think if people
Eg-
realize like and again, I'm not even asking for free to play fighting games. All I'm asking for is like $40 and I get to earn the DLC heroes or something. If you're going to
Yeah.
release like 20 heroes within the lifespan of the game and I have to spend, you know, $30 for every 10, like dude, this is turning into like $120 investment right now for a game, which is just asinine. Like I've done the math I did the math before for Street Fighter where if all you want is the characters to fight with, like it was like $150 or something like that.
No, I think their model will work great for fighting games. And again, I think it'll be wildly successful. Fighting games, I feel like if you have confident people in the right graphics team, which again I think they have
Yeah.
there, you could probably do a fighting game right. You know,
And a good IP. Like it has to run smooth.
yeah, there's a reason that the same fighting games have just been there year over year because it's really hard to revolutionize the fighting game industry. Now, what can do that is a big title coming in can mess with
Dragon
that,
Ball
and I
Z.
think Riot, yeah, and I think Riot has the ability to do that with just branding on their side. People are just loyal, just like
Right.
people are deathly loyal to Blizzard. There's that same type of community there for Riot already,
Yeah.
and so
Well, just the
um,
hype around it too. Like even like for me, who I have no horse in the race when it comes to Riot, but like if I know their quality of work though is there, right? Like I
yeah,
know they put out a good product, and so I think other people out there who don't play League of Legends also know that, right? Like if you play video games in the sense that you would be excited for a tactical FPS or a new fighting game, it's not like you're like League of Legends. Nah, never heard of it. What is that game? Like no, you know what it is and you know it's widely successful. So if you say these guys are coming out with a fighting game and a tactical FPS and a card game and the hype is there, the potential is at least there. Now, just to pump the brakes and rain a little bit on the parade, Valve also came out with a card game and it bombed. So just because you have that backing behind it between a good company or whatnot doesn't necessarily mean it's a guarantee success. Like these still have potential to bomb,
There
but
were several reasons why the Valve one bombed, though, right? Like a lot of it was their strategic play on how they
of course. Well,
came
they
out with the
they tried
content,
making
and
it a real life card game. Like, bro, like
the
I
whole
don't
thing was just
yeah, like
a mess. That released and died just as quickly. I mean, that was one of those that really turned around. But um, it says in their card game you will never pay for randomized packs. So I think that's fantastic. Knowing what you're getting is a I mean, I can't stress how big that is in a card game to know what cards you are actually buying instead of buying 50 packs and hoping to get one that's in there. You can pre-register for that game now and actually get into the mix to start playing today. So if
oh,
that's something that you're interested
I will
in, it's
have to
called
try that
Legends
out.
of Runeterra. Um, you can hop right in and go. Again, I think another big announcement, and it shows that again, this part of it can be done right, is the mobile announcement coming out with a Summoner's Rift version and a team fighting tactics, which to me is the perfect mobile game. Like you talk about
Yeah.
what would be
Well,
good on
Underlords
mobile.
have it too. Like Valve has theirs on
Yeah,
mobile. Plays
no,
beautiful.
I think that's the perfect type of game. I don't want to play Call of Duty on mobile, but a card game or a team fighting tactics game, hey, I'm sold. And it shows that again, this is the difference between BlizzCon last year and an announcement like this. BlizzCon last year, their big announcement was League of Legends on mobile. That was really it. I mean, there really wasn't a whole lot else announced at BlizzCon last year, and you saw the reception and the whole thing of, well, don't you guys have phones? And then is this an April Fool's joke? Like, there's a lot of
Ugh,
memorable moments
what a joke.
from that release at BlizzCon. Well, these guys put it out here, and it's getting a fantastic reception. And part of it is because there were so many other things that they announced. But um, I think having a MOBA going to phone, I think is huge. I think it's going to just continue to increase their player base. Um, those are the types of games with phones the way they are could really be great. I mean, you talk about a game that has 4 or 5 buttons, tops that you have to press. Um, I think it's a fantastic idea, and it'll have its own experience to it, its own ranking system. So they're going all in
Well,
on
and
the
we
mobile
have
version
heard
here.
that mobile is like the new esports, right? So,
And we joke about it. We do slam mobile a lot, and there's a lot of right reasons for doing it too. But there are certain games like as I feel like such as these two that have the potential to do really
well, and I could
well
definitely
on
see like
mobile.
ARAM on mobile would be
Oh
wonderful. Something
gosh,
quick or something
great!
like that.
Yeah. A couple of things they announced. They announced their League of Legends animated series. Again, it's just something cool to relate to your fans. For your fans to be able to watch an animated series and kind of step in to the Summoner's Rift in that sense, right? Like be a part of it, be involved and invested in not only the game that you're playing, but the story behind it. That's set to launch next year, and that'll follow some of their like most popular champions. Um, I think that's just a fantastic idea. Just again, something a little extra. They could have gone without this announcement and it would have been fine. But um, again, I think something really cool. A documentary. Like there were just so many things that came out of the League 10 that I thought it was probably one of the best displays I've seen of gaming announcements in a long time. And that's talking about events like E3, that's talking events like BlizzCon. Like, yes, there's been hype at E3, every year, but um it's not the whole show, right?
Right.
Like there's a part of the show that I'm excited for. These guys, I know it's only one developer, but came out with 4 or 5 announcements, and all of them are getting received really, really well. So proud for Riot. I think it's great that they're getting an opportunity to build upon their brand and really live up to the name Riot Games. It is plural. They only have one game.
Really
Again, this
makes
is a
you say what sexual assault, you know?
yeah. I
Like
give me a good FPS, Tim.
you can touch me anywhere.
In all seriousness, though, what they're doing was shitty. Hopefully, that gets handled
I feel like it's handled
appropriately.
professionally, and this
But
has
but
no
that's
bearing
not
on your
why we
opinion.
do this show. It's an esports show. We talk about games that have esports potential. We'll let the other Justice Warriors out there handle it like LeBron James. So, um,
We just don't know the situation. We're just
yeah,
uneducated.
just uneducated.
We're just uneducated folks here, man. No, I like I said, for someone who doesn't follow League of Legends really at all, like I have it installed. It's on my desktop. Maybe we should play sometime, Anuj. You can teach me League of Legends. I know I have the pirate chick that with a large chest. I don't know. That's all I got.
I,
It was like my free hero I could pick, and I was like, "You look like a brain dead DPS hero. Sure, I'll pick you." So I would love to play sometime. Maybe you can show me the ropes.
we can definitely do that.
So what is
Anything
like
else
the
come out of?
ETA though on all these releases?
So all of them, it's funny because at the end of each of these videos, they said, "Okay, we're going dark now. We'll have more info for you next year." I don't think we'll see releases until end of next year for one of the titles. I think one of the titles will get in next year, whether that's the FPS or the fighting game. My guess would be that the FPS is closer to release than the fighting game. A reason I say that is just with the amount of content. I say amount, it still wasn't a lot, but we did see a lot more of the FPS game. So mm, obviously the card game coming out now. I think both of these titles are 2020 to 2021 releases. Again, I think we might get one next year towards the end of next year, um, but that's still like TBD. As far as the mobile stuff, let me see if I saved any of that. Um, Team Tactics on mobile will feature full cross-platform with PC. Oh, that's convenient. And a handful of early betas will be starting up as soon as December of this year.
So
So the
quick,
release will be out for that next year. Let's
all before
see.
Halo PC. Go,
Wild Rift
go figure.
alpha and beta tests will be ongoing towards the end of 2019 with the worldwide support by the end of 2020. So you will have summoners. Or this will be titled Wild Rift. That will be on mobile by next year. Again, card game and beta today. Project L and Project A, the FPS and the fighting game. We'll hear more next year, and we'll update as we go on that. We're probably not going to dive into this for some time now.
Oh yeah.
But with all the hype that was going around, we definitely thought it was worth talking about. And for you League fans, I think the final announcement that they had was a new character, and I think it's Cena announced as the new champion. Um, it'll be the first marksman support character. So with all of this other stuff going on, they found a way to create a character that could possibly change the meta a little bit within their prime game. So I think she's live on PTS coming up soon, and will be live in early November on in the actual game. Just another bonus there for everyone.
Excellent. Can't wait. Maybe I'll play her in like 20 years or something. Next time I open up League of Legends, the next 10-year anniversary, I'll play her. Let's get into some e-news. But before I do that, let me just remind you about our good friends at Thrive Fantasy. They are your daily fantasy sports bet, prop bet app slash website. Be sure to download the app. When you do, register an account, use the code TCR. Get it? That's our name. That's how promotion works. Upon sign up, you will then get an instant $10 match on your first $10 deposit. That's right. If you can do math, that means you will have $20 to play around with. They got normal sports, esports, knock yourself out, Thrive Fantasy. All right. Looking here at eNews, we got quite a bit to get through. In Counter-Strike, there's about to be a pro uprising. Maybe this is why everyone's excited for Project A, because it won't have an SG in it. But pros are really pushing for a nerf.
They need to do one of two things with the SG. So they can nerf it. I don't think they need to nerf it. What I think they need to do is just change the price on it. They need to
Yeah.
revert the price back and make the gun more expensive. So if you are going to invest in it, it's a bigger loss to lose it. Because right now the gun has a faster rate of fire, better accuracy, better armor pen than the AK, and it only costs $50 more. Oh, hey, by the way, it's got a scope on it too. Um, so I do think either I would prefer them just up the price,
Yeah.
leave the gun as a viable gun in the game, because the last thing we need is like one less gun that's good in Counter Strike. There's
Well,
already
that's where
very
we were 5
few.
years ago, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's like, again, I don't want them to completely kill it off, but they need to make it an investment to get it. So I think the best thing to do is just increase the price, make it hit you where it counts in Counter Strike, and that's the economy. So you are seeing a huge push around that. I do think it'll happen. It's just dominating the T sides right now, and um,
yeah.
it's I think it's bound to happen.
Yep. IEM Beijing was sold out within 20 seconds, reports show. You might think that's impressive until you realize that probably 100% of that was bought up by bots and scalpers, which is a major issue in China with Dota as well. Like for Dota events in China, that's a big issue as well with scalpers and bots just instantly buying up these tickets and then going on the third market websites and just selling them for, through the roof price. So, ironically, it would be really funny if it was Hong Kong who just bought up all the Beijing tickets and then not sell them. That would
Just stick it to them.
that would be an awesome move on Hong Kong's part, just to make it look like no one shows up. But only time will tell if that was really the case. In other news here for CS:GO, Ye steps down from the active roster with Swole Patrol.
Not a very yay moment.
Man, what happened to him? Was it just like a moment with Complexity that everyone liked him? Like, did he just shine for a moment and his name
Well,
is
he
likable?
shined in the major, like on the biggest stage, right? So people fell in love with him there. Then he fell off, relatively quick after the major. So did a lot of the Complexity lineup. So I don't know if it's necessarily him or just that lineup overperformed. I think we all agree to a certain extent. But yeah, then you go on to Swole Patrol, and the talent you're playing with is less around you, and this is unfortunately you can see this happen quickly in Counter Strike. That's one of the rough parts about it. So he'll kind of be, I think, in this lingo period for some time now.
Yep. So we'll see what happens there. Call of Duty, lots of CDL news. London Royal Ravens officially to be the first team announced, which I kind of was confused by that headline because it was like first official team announcement. And I'm like, all these teams are already announced. And then I remembered, no, it's just they were horribly kept secrets and just leaked everywhere. That's how we know the names. But no, the Royal Ravens, excuse me, don't disrespect the Raves, are the first official team announced with branding and everything. Did you see the branding?
I didn't yet.
It's okay.
Pull it up.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
It looks like they found this generic image online, and
Yeah, it
put it on.
doesn't
It's
look
kind of that-
anything
It's like
revolutionary.
one of those. It's like one of those like Call of Duty. When you can like create your little tag in Call of
maybe
Duty.
that's maybe
It
that's a
looks like one
stipulation
of
for
the
the league.
original.
Maybe the league was like, look, guys, you can create your own logo. However, it's got to be used in the worst emblem creator known to man.
Yeah,
that's
like
our
it looks like
emblem
something
creator.
straight out of the emblem generator. Not that impressed with the name either. I mean, I get it. They wanted to put
No.
Royal in there. Cool. Sounds like something Euro.
Sounds
but
very Londony.
yeah, sure.
Very Londony. Dallas is announcing players pretty much rapidly now. It seems like a player a day or two.
It is.
Even.
It's a player a day.
Yep.
They're doing one a day, and then the last one will be the branding announcement.
All right, and that will be Friday, Saturday, sometime this
Saturday,
week.
I think. Yeah.
But they did announce Shotzi coming to Dallas Empire, or so we think it's called, Dallas Empire. Shotzi, if you haven't heard of him, former Halo pro, actually former world champion for Halo as he played for Splice. They won champions back in 2018. As far as I could tell, not a huge resume for Call of Duty. Played in the amateur finals for 2019, got 30th. 33rd through 48th place. Not saying that that's a bad thing, right? Like we've seen a lot of these Halo pros step over to Call of Duty and have wildly successful
He's
careers.
mechanically gifted, right? So that's what they're relying on, is the fact that he is, you know, very good on the sticks.
Yeah.
And that should translate over, especially to the way that this new Call of Duty IP, in terms of how different it looks compared to others. This is probably a good time to make that switch.
And it kind of follows up right with their next player announcement that they just announced today with Huck. That's how you say his name, right? That's how I say
Huke,
it.
but
Huke.
yeah, maybe it's Huck.
I've
Goes with
always
Huke.
said Huck. That being said, no one corrects me, but it's not like I really have that conversation a lot. I don't really go around talking about Call of Duty rosters. Anyway, Huck, however you say it, let me know. Also previously competed for Envy for Halo and Call of Duty. He actually was just recently released from Envy, going to Splice in June. Obviously, that all kind of fell apart given the fact that where we're at today. So Envy re-signs him to their Dallas roster, and the rest is history. So
Pretty interesting lineup so far
yeah,
for our boys down here in blue. Excited to see this lineup because it's like, you have that veteran in Clayster right now on the team, right? So you're going to have that leadership coming from him. And, you say veteran, it also is a big difference when it's a veteran coming in with back-to-back titles behind his name, right? So
right.
winning Worlds and then the previous one before that. So to pair him up with a couple of younger guys, I'm super intrigued to see who these last two signings are. There's a lot of speculation of who those players may be, but I hope they get another veteran in the mix here and don't go like 4 young and 1 Clay. We've seen that can cause some potential problems. So I'm very intrigued by the roster so far, but I'm excited to see who the last two slots go to.
And yeah, not to get ahead of ourselves, but we should be having Clay on the show some point. At some point, I know we are on the list. I'll say that, but they want to get through all the announcement, get all the branding stuff out of the way first, and then they'll.
Well, he is a follower, so it only makes sense.
He
No
does
big
follow on
deal,
Twitter and
but
stuff. So,
yeah.
yeah. So save the best for last. I understand. I was told that he went to management and was like, guys, I really want to go on TCR, and they said, slow down.
We're trying to open up our schedule. We're a little
know.
busy, but I think we can make it work.
We'll see if we can pencil him in. But that should be maybe next week or sometime. In other news, Smash Ultimate was announced today as the headlining game for EVO Japan 2020. Kind of surprising considering for 2019, now EVO Japan's not nearly as big as it is here, but didn't have Smash at all. So, Melee or Ultimate. Obviously not Ultimate, but. So, interesting to see that as being a headliner. Did you see this email we got? I put it in here because it's actually pretty fascinating. Racing esports, I think, is like its own little world that we just didn't know existed, but we get emails sometimes sent from news outlets. But World's Fastest Gamer, that's what you would Google to find what I'm about to talk about, starts this weekend. What it is like e-racing, I guess, right? It's like racing cars in a racing simulator. It's like legit. It's not a Logitech racing wheel that you got off Amazon and hooked it up on your computer. Like these things are big boy racing sims. But 10 finalists from around the world compete for the title. They will compete in a series of on-track and simulation races for the ultimate prize of becoming a real race car driver. The worth of that is $1 million.
Jeez. That's pretty badass.
Isn't it?
That's
like,
actually
talk about the ultimate crossover from esports and like traditional sports.
This has like TV show written all over it,
Dude.
if you ask me.
Again, if you Google World's Fastest Gamer, they invited us out there to go watch it. Unfortunately, it's like in Las Vegas and in 2 days. So that ain't happening.
So
but
somebody fell through and they thought of us. We appreciate that still, though. We think that's actually
but
nice.
that does sound pretty awesome. Could you imagine like if Madden was like, well, you won the Madden tournament, now you get to be a coach in the NFL?
And the lawsuits from his death would. Oh, coach. I thought you were gonna say player.
or player, or player.
That would be terrible.
um. So yeah, I saw that email. They just sent it to us kind of before we started recording, and I was like,
Yeah,
whoa,
that is.
that's
That's
actually
pretty
really
cool.
cool. And one last thing here, kind of follow up with the Blizzard Hong Kong.
Can't do a TCR show if Blizzard's not mentioned.
Nope. American University. This was the college in the tournament after Blitzchung did it, and they posted up a sign saying "Free Hong Kong #boycott Blizzard." Well, originally no punishment was held down, and people were like, "Okay, Blizzard, get your stuff straight." And now Blizzard recently announced today, no, we are suspending. I believe the school players.
That team is getting suspended for 6 month time. And that player actually came out and tweeted out, like, he goes, "Hey, I appreciate the punishment. Like, I want to be." The whole point of what he did was to see if the treatment was basically going to be the same for him, as it was Blitzchung. So, and it wasn't. And so he came out and defended Blitz. And this was like a cool moment in esports because it was pretty selfless. Although if he did it to garner attention, maybe that's what his ultimate motive was. But something good came out of it. It put them in a tough position. It made a company. He forced them to act responsibly, which
Right.
is so unusual, right? So, good on him for doing that and putting
And
the
I know
pressure on him because the heat's not letting off right now.
No, absolutely. I mean, like I said, it's like every day I'm getting more and more excited to go to BlizzCon because it's going to be so juicy.
But Blizzard's pretty stoked right now for Riot. I feel like they're probably under their breath. They're like, "Oh my god, thank you for having a great stream the other day. The
It takes
attention
a
is
little
off
bit
of us
off
for
of us.
one
Thank
day."
you. It is really funny though seeing players like XQC or like Overwatch players going up to Blizzard on Twitter and being like, "Bro, what the hell? Like we've been asking for stuff for Overwatch for years. These guys just dump everything." Or even Counter-Strike players, right? Are like, "We've been asking for new content or a little bit of support since the dawn of time. Nothing." And Riot is already supporting their, you know, day one IPs better. So it is funny to see how all that's going out. And I know some people are like, Blizzard, of course, banning people again. I think this is all kosher, right? Like, in my opinion, it seemed like, yeah, no, ban him for 6 months. You did Blitz for 6 months. That part makes sense to me.
Yeah, this is what they should have done.
Do I
They
agree?
should have
Still,
made
do
the
I
punishments
agree with
equal.
like again? Yeah, like I don't. Again, #free Hong Kong. I'm on your side. Don't shoot me. But based off their rule saying, hey, don't do something to make us look bad, I guess this punishment is what that's for. So, also, this is just my opinion. If you're going to hold up a sign during a Blizzard held event saying boycott Blizzard, I think you're lucky you got away with 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, Hong Kong and China aside, if I was Blizzard, I'd be like, look, we're going to ban you 6 months for the Hong Kong stuff. The boycotting Blizzard stuff, you're dead to us. Like,
You're done.
you're done for that one. Goodbye. Though, and I would not blame Blizzard for that one just because, mess with the bull, get the horns, right? So there's that. One last thing for e-news. I just remembered it now. But our good friends at Alt, of course, they design Overwatch League attire, their own attire that looks pretty dope and rad. I would go check them out. ULT. They do E-United. Also, recently announced that they partnered with CLG. So now they have some pretty
nice.
kick-ass CLG gear. Not going to lie, never in my life have I ever thought, I might buy some CLG gear. But looking at it, I'm like, damn, that actually looks pretty legit.
No, they got some clean streetwear. Like their stuff
Yeah.
looks. It's like for the young, hip. Like
Not us.
It has a
for sure.
has a good look. Yeah,
I have
probably
alt
not gonna
clothing,
be.
and when I wear it, I definitely look like the dad trying to hang out with his son's friends. But
Yeah, hopefully we get to see those guys in a couple of weeks. That would be great.
I always joke with them that I will be their model for their dad bod collection. Like, you need a guy to wear just some washed out blue jeans, some white tennis shoes. I'm your guy. I'm I'm your guy for that one. But yeah, I'm looking at this CLG stuff, man. That CLG hoodie. Whew. Maybe get that with the TCR logo instead and get some maroon color in there. Whatever third color we decide our show is actually. Is it maroon, burgundy? I don't know.
Some TCR swag.
Yeah.
We need some cool
That
looking
would look
TCR gear.
legit. We will have to get TCR swag eventually. But not today. Because today, this episode of TCR is done. It's over. It's in the books. Appreciate everyone who stopped by to watch it on Twitch. If you are listening throughout the whole darn thing, love you. You're insane. If you skipped around, appreciate it all the same. If you clicked on it for 1 second, said this show sucks, I'm never listening again, joke's on you. Still got the listen, sucker. If you are listening on iTunes or anything that lets you leave a review, be sure and do so. We love to read them, even if you call me Michael on it.
You got my name right.
Yeah, one was like, Michael and Anuj are great. I'm like, bro, how does that even happen? But nonetheless, you left a 5-star review, so you can call me whatever you want if you leave a 5-star review.
Love you all the same.
Other than that, we will be back Monday as we record Sunday night. So if you want to check that out, follow us on Twitter at The Center Ring. We'll be live as we always are, talking about all of the latest esports news and wonders that happen over the weekend and throughout your life. If you have any ideas, let us know on Discord, DM us on Twitter, anything like that. We always love to hear from it. Yeah, that is just about it. I'm Tim for Anuj. We'll see ya.